Hey, this is Viper. You're listening to the Unapologetic Truth. Welcome. This is our first episode. I told you the other day, I promised you we would get one episode out here, so here we go. Well, today we're going to talk about the executive orders that Trump's been issuing lately since he took over in office. Excuse me, some good, some bad, I guess, but we're going to highlight some of the ones that we thought were worth highlighting. Let's get right into it. All right, the first one that we decided to talk about was keeping men out of women's sports. Now, I'm sure the majority of you all feel the same way I do, and that men do not belong in women's sports at all. So it fits in here. In recent years, many education institutions and athletic associations have allowed men to compete in women's sports. This is demeaning, unfair, dangerous to women and girls, and denies women and girls the equal opportunity to participate and excel in competitive sports. Um, some federal courts have recognized ignoring fundamental biological truths between the two sexes, depriving women and girls of meaningful access to educational facilities. Therefore, in this policy, the United States to rescind all funds from education programs depriving women and girls of fair athletic opportunities, which result in endangerment, humiliation, and silence of women and girls and deprive them of privacy. It should also be the policy of the United States to oppose male competitive participation in women's sports more broadly, with a matter of safety, fairness, dignity, and truth. Now, I 100% agree with this one. I know I've had conversations with people before and been on different shows and said the same thing. Men do not belong in women's sports. I don't care what they identify, and they identify as a woman or a dog or a cat or whatever. They do not belong in women's sports. You got these guys who can't hack it in men's sports, so they automatically say, "Oh, well, I'm a woman, so they can fight and become a champion, or up there top ranked, swimmer or boxer or MMA fighter." All those things are the most ridiculous thing, and I don't know why any of these sports allow this to happen, because it's just not fair. There's no comparison to a man and a female. I don't care. He's recognized. He thinks he's a woman. Their body makeup and everything is just completely different. And these women end up getting pummeled in these sports. I mean, you've seen it in boxing, you've seen it in MMA. Um, the swimming. Eating everybody weightlifting. All these things, they just do not belong. Men do not belong in these sports. If you can't hack it as a man in the men's side, and then give it up. You don't have the right to say, "Oh, well, now I feel like I'm a woman, so now you're going to go in the women's sports and compete against them and dominate in there," when you couldn't do it in a man's sport. Which is just, I'm absolutely 100% on board with Trump and his executive order for this one. I'm glad that it's finally taken care of. I mean, we go back to Obama. It started with him, might even have started before him, but he started all this crap with the sharing of the bathrooms, and now we got to have designated bathroom for men who feel like women, and all this crap, and then Biden just carried it along. And I'm so glad that Trump decided to do something about it. It's ridiculous. And I know I'm sure I'm going to get some, feedback on this one, but I'm sorry. If you're a guy who feels like you're a woman, keep it to yourself. Because you don't belong in women's sports. I'm all for it. Look, transgenders want to have their own, sports. Go for it. I mean, you got you got enough men and women who think they're men and men who think they're women. Have your own group. Start your own sports. And do it that way. But you have no business being in. Men have no business being in a women's sport. So I think we've covered that one pretty good. I just, and anybody who thinks differently is ridiculous. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense at all. Um, I just, it's just, I don't know. I mean, I can't believe that there's people out there, and I've had conversations with them that who believe that it's the man's right. If he feels like he's a woman, then he has a right to be part of that. And I disagree 150%. I'm not even going to say 100%. I'm going to say 150%. All right. Well, let's go on to the next one. This next one is ending radical indoctrination in K-12 schooling. Um, says parents trust American schools to provide their children with rigorous education and instill a patriotic administration of our incredible nation, the values on which we stand. In recent years, however, parents have witnessed schools indoctrinate their children in radical and anti-American ideologies while deliberately blocking parent oversight. Such as an environment operates as an echo in a chamber in which students are forced to accept the ideologies without question or critical examination. In many cases, innocent children are compelled to adopt identities of their either victims or oppressors solely based on their skin color and immutable characteristics. In other instances, young men and women are made to question whether they're born in the wrong body and whether they view their parents and their reality as enemies to be blamed. These practices not only erode critical thinking, but also sow division, confusion, and distrust, and undermine very foundations of personal identity and family unity. Um, so basically, what it is where he's ending all this woke crap in schools. And which again, I am 100% on board with. All this crap where they're allowed to tell your kid that, oh, if you feel like a woman, I mean, if you feel like a girl to the boy, if you feel like a girl, well, then you can act like that, yeah. Or if you, as a girl, if you feel like a boy, then you can act like a boy. No, I mean, look, let's face it. And Trump said it during the congressional address. God made two sexes, male and female, only. That's it. And I agree 150%. Again, 150% that there is no other, there is no other sex. There are all these identities and these pronouns and all that garbage needs to be, out. And like I said, I believe 100%, with Trump and this executive order, he did very well with this one. We need to end all that crap in schools, and it's ridiculous that when we were growing up as kids, we didn't have to face that. There was no, oh, I feel like a girl. Oh, I feel like a boy. There was none of that. And now it's all you hear is, you got all these young kids who are being told it's okay, oh, it's okay because you're trapped in a boy's body, and you're really a girl, or vice versa, you're trapped in a girl's body and you're really a boy, and it's okay to let it out and act like, a guy when you're a girl and act like a girl when you're a guy, and it just, it just needs to end. All that kind of garbage needs to end. No, we don't need that in the schools. The schools are just, and there's enough ridiculous stuff going on in these schools, especially public schools. I mean, private schools are completely different. You go to a Christian school or something like that, they they tell you right off the bat, no, we don't support any of that. We don't want any of that in our schools. There is no acting like the opposite sex. And they don't stand for it, and that's 100% a great year. The year that. Um, and I know some schools that they make you sign something in the beginning of the year, make the kids sign something in the beginning of the year. That we don't accept any of that kind of stuff in the school, and we don't agree with any of it, and we will not tolerate any of that kind of stuff in the school. So, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Another good thing that Trump has done to get rid of that garbage in the schools. And of course, like I said, I mean, I know I'm going to get some people saying, "Oh, they don't agree with it," but sorry. And the other one that kind of goes along with this, protecting children from chemical and surgical um, manipulation. It just says across the country today, medical professionals are maiming and sterilizing a growing number of impressionable children under radical and false claims that adults can change their child's sex through a series of irreversible medical interventions. This is a dangerous trend and will be a strain on nation's history and it must end. And it says countless children soon regret that they have been mutilated and begin to grasp the horrifying tragedy that will never be able to conceive children in their own or nurture their own children through breastfeeding. Moreover, these vulnerable, youth medical bills will rise throughout their lifetime as often as trapped in a lifelong mental complication, losing more of their own bodies and tragically sterilization. So, I mean, I agree. Again, another one that I 100% agree with, getting rid of all this and not letting these kids, not letting parents, in it says the term child children means individual or individuals under the age of 19 years old. So basically, what it's saying is that you cannot, the doctors cannot do these things to kids under 19. Now, for me, I mean, under 19, it should be, you should go higher than that. For my, I would say go past 19, go to when they're adult. Look, once your kid turns 21, then it's a little hard for you to say, you can't do that because they're an adult now, and then they can they're kind of, get on their own thing and I don't know, it um, just doesn't make sense. I mean, their parent would look at their kid and their kid says, "Oh, I feel like a girl," when they're a boy, and say, "Okay, well, we'll take care of that. We'll fix that." I just don't understand that. I mean, it doesn't make sense to me. Um, it sounds ridiculous. I'm sorry, but it does. Um, so another one that I agree 100% with Trump. Trump is, you know, next one. Let's see. We got reinstating service members discharged under military's COVID-19 vaccination mandate. I think this is a great thing. I think this should have never happened. I think that with the Biden administration went crazy with this and they started getting rid of everybody because they mandate saying, "Oh, you have to," and that wasn't only the military. It was businesses doing the same thing. Hospitals. I know plenty of people who work in hospitals have had to get mandatory vaccinations because if they wanted to keep their job. Um, and so here, it was, do I feed my kids or do I get the vaccine, or do I not take the vaccine and lose my job? And then what do I do for money? my kids and my family. Um, it's terrible. It's terrible that we did that, and we made people do that. And the military is no different. We weeded out a lot of people because people stood their ground and did not want these vaccinations and refused them, and then we punished them for it. Well, not we. I mean, our government did. Uh, you know, it's just ridiculous. So I agree 100%. They should be brought back, and they should get, and also given back all the money that they lost from the time they were discharged because of that. And if for some reason they don't want to come back, and they were discharged, and I don't know if these were, I can't remember if they were giving them dishonorable discharge because they refused. I don't remember. If somebody knows, maybe they can correct me on that. But if that was the case, um, I would say that it would be beneficial for them to either have the option to return uh, back to the military and back where they were, and get hold their back pay, or have their discharge reversed. If they were giving if they were given a dishonorable discharge for that. So again, I'm not 100% sure. And they should be reversed to honorable discharge. And then they can, because all these people who got discharged, I believe, weren't, if they were dishonorable discharged, then that means they weren't entitled to any benefits at all or anything, depending on how long they were in. And it's just a ridiculous thing, and it needs to be fixed. And I'm glad to see that Trump was one of the first things he addressed. Um, it just, it's a good thing. Um, just looking through, I had some other ones here that I was going to talk about. Declassification of records concerning assassination of President John F. Kennedy, Senator Robert F. Kennedy, and Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. This is a good thing. Now, we did hear before that they were going to do this, and then something happened, and we didn't get anything. Um, I mean, there are little things coming out, about the JFK assassination. Like, I mean, we all know. I mean, we're not stupid. I mean, we know this was an inside job. It wasn't Oswald, and he was just a patsy who they got the thing to fall for it. But I think it's a good thing that we should be getting all the stuff out. I mean, it should be released. I mean, it's been a long enough. It's been hidden long enough from the American people, and it needs to come out. I mean, whatever it is, whether we did it, or it was more than one person, which I believe it was. I believe it was more than one person. Um, I think that we need to do it. I mean, it needs to come out. It needs to be told. It's the whole truth. I mean, like I said, they protected long enough. I mean, it's been, you know, covered up for long enough. It needs to come out and be done already. But yeah, so I mean, like I said, I mean, I don't always agree with everything, with Trump, but I have to say that Trump is exceeding my expectations. Um, a lot of people know me, know that I just, I'm, I'm not, I, I'm like I told you guys in the beginning that I am a MAGA. I've supported Trump from the beginning. Although at the same time, I'm very critical of him. I'm very critical of the Republicans um, and the Democrats. I mean, Democrats don't get scathed on that. Um, so, it's just, and, there's a lot of good things. I mean, he's doing a lot of good things, and which I was sure that he probably would, or at least try. There's some things that I'd like to see, him still do. I still want to see, I want to see this economy turned around. And now he's saying that there's a risk of recession. Um, I don't know if this country can handle that. And it's because of these tariffs that he's going to put in place with Mexico and Canada and I know in China, 25% tariff on import goods from two neighboring trading partners on Thursday are removed temporarily for a second time in only about 6 weeks of government. So I mean, we put them, we remove them. We need to look. I agree. There's a problem. Drugs come across the borders are a problem, and Mexico and Canada need to be held accountable for that. And I get it. And I get what he's talking about, and I get why he's wanting to do these tariffs to persuade them, but it doesn't seem to be persuading them very much because all they're doing is fighting back, um, and and pushing. That we're getting into a trade war. Back and forth saying, "Oh, well, I'm gonna do this." But, sorry, I'm gonna add this and I'm gonna add that. Oh, I'm gonna add mine. I'm gonna add you. We're gonna give it to you now. Oh, it's just. And so, here's another one. That they getting rid of transgenders in the military. Now, I have to admit, I agree again. This is another one. You know, uh, Secretary of Defense Pete with a Hegseth, I think that's how you pronounce it, saying that they're unfit to serve. Um, I did. I agree. I think that it's just a bad thing. I mean, we have this in there, and you got, and a lot of them, you got people joining the military because they know the military will pay for their transition. You know what I mean? And I just think it. I think there's a colonel who just came out. Think. Let me see if I can find their name real quick here. Uh, Colonel Bree Fram, one of the highest ranking transgender members of the military, speaks out about her journey and her uncertain future. So apparently this colonel is going on a podcast and complaining, saying that, Trump wants me out, and I don't, my features uncertain but look, I think it's a bad thing. I mean, I think it makes our military look bad that we allow transgenders in the military, and again, it has to go back to, and I'm sure people are going to complain that I'm saying these things, but it goes back to the same thing that God created man and woman. Period. Um, you know, That's it. There is no other genders, and nobody feeling like they are or they aren't. Just all that stuff is just bull crap. You know, um, and we need to do away with those kind of things. Um, and yes, the transgender in the military, they need to go. Sorry, that's just the way it is. Um, and what's another? I was looking, the border. I know. I was talking to somebody the other day about the border, and Trump campaigned on mass deportations, and he was going to get rid of all the criminals that came across the border during the 4 years Biden administration, and probably even before that. I mean, well, now Biden let in what? I mean, we don't even know the real number of what came across the border, or who, or what criminals came across the border. Um, but I agree that if that's what we're doing, we need to do it. I haven't seen much. We haven't seen much deportations. A little bit here and there, but it wasn't the max deportations that he touted in his campaign, and it was going to happen on day one. And um, look, don't get me wrong. I think if you're a criminal and you're here illegally, you're going. Now there is there is controversy on this because people will say, well, what about the people that who've been here for 5, 10 years illegally, but they've, established themselves here in this country. And I don't know, I'm kind of on the fence with that because uh, they're still here legal. Where do you draw? And I had this conversation with somebody not too long ago, and I said, where do you draw the line? To say, okay, well, this guy's been here for 10 years, so but he's got to go. But somebody who's been here for 5 years, has to go. I just, there you have to draw a line somewhere, and there has to be, because once he's done with all the criminals, trying to get all the criminals out of here, which I don't know how he's going to do it, and I've still been waiting to see how that's going to happen because nobody's kept track of these people. Most of these people came through, and nobody knows where they went. So, I mean, you got to they got to go across and try to find these people. Um, the ones that are in the jails, that's easier, and you can boot them out, ship them. But they even stopped the flights. They were doing flights, getting them, sending these people back to the countries where they came from. I don't even think they're doing that right now. And if they are, they're very slow going, and you're not really hearing a lot about it. Um, So, like I said, I mean, where do you draw the line? I mean, if you say anybody who's here 5 years or less, you got to go. So, well, the guy who's here 6 years illegally can stay. I don't know if I agree with that. I mean, there's a lot of unknown there. What's fair and what's not fair. I've heard both sides of the argument. I've heard people say, "Oh, well, it's not fair for somebody who's been here 10 years who establish themselves, everything. But you have to, and and I understand what they're saying, but you have to go back to the same thing is they came here illegally. There's a way to do it. There's a way to come here. And it's not just illegally crossing the border and then getting in and taking off and establishing yourself somewhere. And I understand that maybe you may have been a good citizen. You're not an American citizen, but you may have been a good person and doing what you're supposed to and working and supporting your family and doing all this stuff. But you're still in this country illegally. You can't go in any other country like we allow here. Try to cross the border to get into Mexico and see what happens to you. Try to cross the border into Canada and see what happens to you. Or any other country for that matter. I mean, we're the only one who says, oh, sure, come across, oh, what? You want to come in? Yeah, come on in. Or you want to take a boat here from Cuba? Come on in, it's just, or, Haiti or wherever, I mean, we just allow these people, and we got crazy with the Biden administration. The Biden administration let in, tens and thousands. We don't even know the top number, what came in and who came in and where they came from. And, so Trump's going to have a difficult time doing it. And I think he's finally realizing that this mass deportation that he touted throughout his whole campaign was going to happen is not happening like you thought it would. And it's not as easy as you thought it would. Because, I mean, there was, oh, we're going to use Gitmo and we're going to bring everybody there. And that'll be their holding place until they get sent back. Even that has slowed down. I don't even think they're doing that anymore. If they are, it's very little. Um, so there's a lot, I mean, again, I agree with a lot of the things Trump's doing. Trump's taking care of business. And which I knew he would, I was a little concerned, of how he was going to do things and what, but I am, don't get me wrong. I'm not offended by anything that he says. I mean, he talks the way we do. He talks the way that most of us, most of you do. Um, he's not afraid to say what he's thinking, and that's a good thing because I'm the same way. I'm going to say, whether it makes me popular or not, I'm going to say the things that I think and feel. And you're going to find that about me on this show is that I don't apologize. Why you think of my name in the show, Unapologetic, because I will not apologize for anything that I say. Because if I feel, this way about something, I'm going to say it. I'm going to tell you. You know, uh, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not going to, no more hurt anybody's feelings. Sorry, if your feelings are hurt, then I want the truth heard sometimes. And it's something that you got to deal with. That's your thing. But well, I mean, let's see if there's anything else going on. Here, top state Trump. Let's see, what is it? Top Trump State Department official spreads rumors about Rubio's sexuality, calling him low IQ. Um, deleted tweets show top State Department officials spread false rumors about Rubio's sexuality, calling him low IQ. Top acting State Department official deleted at least half a dozen tweets that ridiculed his now boss, Secretary of State Marco Rubio, including one calling him low IQ, repeating his false rumor about sexuality. Deleted tweets from Darren Beatty, or I think it is Beatty or Beatty, the acting undersecretary of the state for public diplomacy, where everyone have already seen a review official, CNN, but you know, Rubio, I can't say bad things about Rubio. I mean, is he president material? He wasn't. I didn't think so when he was running. Um, but I have to say, Rubio, I know Rubio has helped me personally. Um, I know other people who he's helped with the things, some issues or whatever. So he is a good guy. And, I wish him well as Secretary of Defense. I think it was a good pick. I think he's going to do a good job. I think he's got a good head on his shoulders, and these people who talked about him before, yeah, I'm sure they're regretting it now because especially this guy, so it needs to be, and the same thing with DeSantis. I mean, all that crap that was touted about DeSantis and everything. DeSantis is a good guy. I mean, a heck of a governor for Florida. Done a lot of great things. A lot of people, used to tout him as a Trump Jr., but then he kind of broke out on his own. Got away from Trump and grew some balls and did did the job he was supposed to do, and is still doing. He's doing a good job. I'm sure the people of Florida are very happy with him, even though they're going to be losing him soon. And I think his term is coming up to an end, I should say. Rumor is, though, that I heard that his wife is going to run for governor, to take over. So that'll be interesting. I don't really know much about her. So I can't really speak to her, about what her qualifications are and what they aren't. And, you know, uh, see, Elon's giving a lot of heat on this Tesla thing. He's got protests breaking out all over about these cars. I mean, personally, I wouldn't buy a Tesla. I mean, I don't see the hype. You know, I don't see the hype in it. I don't know what is supposed to be the greatness about these cars. I mean, all you do is cheer around. You hear all these cars having all these problems. Uh, I don't know. Honestly, I don't think I even know anybody who has one. That I could tell you, any stories about. Uh, but you see all these protests. I mean, you hear all these horror stories about these cars. I mean, catch on fire and for no reason, and just. I mean, it's. And then he came out with this Cybertruck thing. I mean, that is the most ridiculous car I've ever seen in my life. Um, I don't know who would spend that kind of money, to buy something stupid like that, just to say that, oh, drive a Cybertruck. I don't even know why you would call that a truck because it can't do anything a truck can do. Uh, I mean, there's plenty of videos out there on YouTube and everywhere showing people trying to drive in the dirt and drive in the water and stuff like that with these trucks, and they can't even. These trucks can't even get out of their way in the snow. I mean, so it you know it it's just the name. People, a Tesla or a Tesla. There's so many good electric cars out there now that that consider Tesla. Chevy and Ford and all these other companies who are coming out with nice uh, EV vehicles. Um, they're just, there's so many out there now that you don't even have to consider Tesla anymore in their prices. But Elon Musk, well, that's another story. I don't agree with Trump. That's one thing that I don't agree with Trump's decision and putting him in charge of this Doge, or whatever you want to call it, DOG. I don't agree with that because he's unvetted. I don't believe that Musk is 100% who he says he is. I mean, come on. I mean, what? He used to be a huge Democrat. I mean, well, you could say the same thing about Trump. Trump was a huge Democrat too at one point, giving money to Democrats and Musk too. But Musk, I don't know. There's just something about him that makes me leery about him. I mean, look, he's not doing this before love of country like Trump. Trump is doing what he's doing and wanted to be president for love of country. Musk, on the other hand, Musk got his own out for himself and what will benefit him. And he's making a lot of money. He's benefiting a lot, a great deal off of what he's doing. And he knows that, and that's why he's doing it. I don't believe it's for love of country, and I don't care if people don't like what I'm saying about Musk, but I do not trust him. I don't think he should have that much authority in the White House. I don't believe, there's nobody else, and you've never seen anybody else put into the White House unvetted like him and given that much authority, and then him allowing him to bring other people in unvetted who are handling all this personal information. That I'm not comfortable with because, who knows what he's doing. Yes, he's claiming that he's fine and all kinds of. We all know that the government spends money like crazy on stupid crap, and waste a lot of money. I mean, we've all heard the stories of the $12,000 toilets and all that garbage. And I don't doubt that, there's a lot of money being found, a lot of waste being found. I mean, I don't doubt that at all. Um, Musk is saying, oh, well, everybody's going to get $5,000 of all the money we're saving. I don't believe that. I'll believe that when the check's in my hand. Until then, I don't believe. I don't believe that. I just believe that he should be held more in check. I don't think he should be having free reign to do whatever he wants. Um, I think Trump needs to be careful with that because that could come back to bite him in the ass, and that'll be a problem for him. So I think he needs to keep a leash on Musk, a shorter leash on him, and not give him so much free reign to do whatever he's doing. You know, I mean, him touching Social Security and stuff like that. I think you're getting into a very slippery slope there. And I just, when you start getting into Social Security, you're starting to mess with a lot of people's income. A lot of elderly in this country who rely on that money. And if something, should happen uh, to that money, you're going to have a bigger problem than it is because now you're going to have elderly dying because they can't afford food or medicine or anything else because they relied on that money. Social Security is something that we need to make sure that exists for future. You know, I mean, we, the government borrowed money from Social Security and never paid it back, and now Social Security's run out of money. We need to do something about that. I mean, that should be a top priority And I hope Trump is using, and considering that as a top priority uh, to make sure that that doesn't happen. And you know, our elderly population is growing. I mean, you got a whole generation of people that are ready, or if not already on Social Security, are going to be on Social Security soon. And by that time, there's rumor that Social Security is going to run out, you know, in 10, 20 years. I mean, which is a bad thing. I mean, it could be even shorter than that. I could be wrong on my time frame there. But it's something that needs to be addressed by Trump, and I hope that he does. I hope that he takes care of that. But like I said, for the most part, I 100% agree on the things that Trump is doing. Trump is doing a great job. Yeah, in trying to get this country back on its feet. It's going to take a lot. I don't think he's going to be able to do it in 4 years. So I hope, as Republicans, we have somebody in place before his 4 years are up that is going to continue on. Will it be Vance or will it be somebody else? I don't know. I mean, I don't know too much about JD Vance, so I don't really want to talk about him too much because I really, I haven't really deep dived into him to see, what he's about. But if it is him, I hope that he consider and continues on, with what Trump starts because, a lot of people, well, Trump's going to save us. Well, yes, he's going to, and he's going to do his best to do that. But it's not going to happen in the 4 years that he's here. I mean, you're not going to see too much change in the 4 years because there's so much from the previous administration that we have to unravel and get through to get rid of, to start building again back up down, because they spent their 4 years dismantling everything that Trump put in place his last 4 years. So, and now, so Trump has to dismantle all the crap that they did in the 4 years that the Biden administration did. And then now get back to uh, getting things back to where they were, back with the gas prices and the food prices and, things like that. We need to see that happen again. We need to get back to where we were before Biden took office when we had, you know, under $2 gas, I mean, I think it was even all like down getting, about $1.50 or somewhere at some places. It would be nice to see that again. Food prices. I hope that Trump can do something about that. I think, he touted that in his campaign that he was going to take care of food prices. But I think now that, he's even admitted that he may not be able to lower food prices like he thought he would. Um, we'll see. I mean, prices are getting ridiculous at the grocery store. I mean, you see it every day when you go. I'm sure you guys are just like me. You get to the grocery store and you see what prices, especially things that you buy all the time, what was there before, what the price was, and now what it is now. And it's ridiculous. And, and the eggs, and, I don't know who to blame for the eggs, other than the fact that we killed, a bunch of chickens because of the bird flu. Um, I mean, I don't know if you can blame anybody for that or not. But we should have had some kind of contingency plan in place because now you got eggs that are $8, $20 for a dozen eggs in some places. I mean, it's really ridiculous. Me, I don't really care because I don't eat eggs that much, but but it is. It's a problem. That needs to be addressed as well. So we'll see how Trump handles that. That's about it for today. I think I think we'll end it here. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Please like and share and let everybody know that we're out there, that we're out here now, and we're going to be doing more shows. Um, maybe I'll be back tomorrow, see if we can do some more. Um, we really appreciate everybody listening in. We will definitely be doing a lot more shows. Please like us and follow us on our Instagram, I think Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. we're on those, and Podbean, and our show will be put out there, and Facebook and stuff like that too as well. Um, so, with that said, I appreciate it. Everybody, you guys have a good day, and we'll be back maybe tomorrow. All righty. Talk to you later. Piper's out here.